For decades, Pokémon has captured the hearts of millions, becoming a cultural phenomenon that transcends generations. From its humble beginnings with 151 creatures, to an ever-expanding universe of colorful companions, epic battles, and thrilling adventures, the franchise has remained a staple of gaming. But what exactly makes a Pokémon game great? Is it the nostalgic charm of Pikachu's cheerful cry? Or perhaps that sweet, sweet relief after finally catching a shiny Pokémon after 3,000 soft resets? We see you, dedicated trainer. The truth is, there's no simple answer. A good Pokémon game is more than just cool creatures and exciting battles. It's an experience that taps into our sense of wonder, adventure, and connection. Whether it's crafting a compelling story, offering balanced gameplay, or introducing unforgettable designs, each element works together to create something magical. And let's be honest, haven't we all imagined owning our own gym, complete with a terrifying Gyarados as our mascot? If you're ready to dive deep into what truly makes a Pokémon game unforgettable, stay tuned. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Consider it your Pokédex upgrade. It's super effective. A Pokémon game isn't just about catching creatures and battling trainers. It's about embarking on a journey that feels meaningful. The story and the world you explore are the beating heart of the experience, and when done right, they elevate a game from pretty good to absolutely legendary. Take Pokémon Black and White, for instance. These games dared to dive deep into the moral complexities of training Pokémon, challenging players to consider the ethics of their actions. Are we heroes, or are we just glorified animal trainers with a competitive streak? Spoiler, it's probably both. By giving us a villainous team with an actual philosophy, and not just a bunch of guys in funny costumes yelling about world domination, Black and White gave players a reason to think beyond the surface. But it's not just the story, it's the world itself. A great Pokémon region feels alive, brimming with secrets to discover. Whether you're wandering through Johto's serene bell tower, or getting lost in Sinnoh's snowy Mount Coronet, the best games make you feel like an explorer in a vast, interconnected world. A region should have personality, from its bustling cities to its quiet caves. And, let's be honest, every great region needs that one ridiculously creepy area. Looking at you, Lavender Town. World building also shines through the little details. Why does that NPC in every game give you 10 Pokeballs, as if they've got an unlimited supply? How do Pokemon centers operate 24/7 without any staff breaks? These mysteries add a layer of charm and humor, even if they make absolutely no sense. A strong story and immersive world are the backbone of a Pokemon game. Without them, you're just running in circles through grass. A Pokemon game lives and dies by its gameplay. Sure, the story can move us, and the world can amaze us, but if catching, battling, and exploring don't feel satisfying, it's like throwing a Pokeball that doesn't even wiggle. Seriously, how does that still happen with an Ultra Ball? At its core, the Pokemon formula is deceptively simple. Catch 'em all, train 'em up, and become the very best. But simplicity doesn't mean boring. The best Pokemon games strike a perfect balance between accessibility for newcomers and depth for veteran trainers. Take the battle system, for example. On the surface, it's a straightforward rock-paper-scissors affair. Grass loses to fire, fire loses to water, and water loses to, an electric mouse. But dig deeper, and you'll find strategies involving abilities, held items, and even terrain effects. Suddenly, you're not just battling, you're playing 4D chess with adorable monsters. Then, there's the thrill of catching Pokémon. It's not just about filling up your Pokédex, it's about the hunt. Remember the adrenaline rush of encountering your first shiny Pokémon? Or the frustration of that one Abra teleporting away before you could even throw a ball? Mechanics like the introduction of Poké Radar, Dynamaxing, or even Pokémon Legends, Arceus's stealthy overworld catching keep the series fresh while honoring the spirit of discovery. And let's not forget quality of life improvements. Things like EXP share for your whole team or streamlined breeding mechanics have saved countless hours of grinding. Because let's face it, nobody wants to spend 50 hours hatching eggs for the perfect Eevee. Great gameplay is the soul of a Pokémon game, and when the mechanics click, you're not just playing, you're on an adventure. Let's be real, the Pokémon themselves are the main event. No matter how great the story or gameplay, if the designs don't hit the mark, the game feels like a Magikarp flopping on dry land. A great Pokémon design strikes a delicate balance between creativity and relatability, something that feels fresh, yet instantly recognizable as part of the Pokémon world. Take Charizard, for instance. It's a fire-breathing dragon, even if it's technically not dragon type. And it doesn't need a convoluted backstory to be cool. On the flip side, you've got Vanillux, the sentient ice cream cone that somehow defies logic, but still feels oddly lovable. Pokémon designs work best when they strike that fine line between imaginative and absurd. After all, where else can you have a godlike time-controlling deity and a trash-bag Pokémon in the same universe? But it's not just about individual designs, it's about variety. Each region introduces its own flavor of Pokémon that reflects its theme. Sinnoh gives us mythical vibes with creatures like Dialga and Palkia, while Galar leans into British charm with a literal cup of tea. A diverse lineup of Pokémon ensures every player can find a favorite, whether they're drawn to cuddly critters or fearsome beasts. And let's not forget the evolutions and types. Every trainer remembers the joy of discovering a surprise evolution or trying out a new type combo. Variety isn't just the spice of life. It's the key to keeping Pokémon fresh, exciting, and endlessly replayable. So, whether you're Team Gengar or Team Gumi, it's clear that strong Pokémon design keeps the magic alive. Pokémon has always been more than just a single-player experience. It's a game that thrives on connection. From trading with a friend to complete your Pokédex to battling your rival for bragging rights, the multiplayer aspect of Pokémon brings the franchise to life in ways no NPC could ever replicate. Let's be honest, beating your best friend's over-leveled Charizard is infinitely more satisfying than defeating any Elite Four. The magic of multiplayer started way back with those chunky Game Boy Link cables, where you had to sit shoulder to shoulder with your rival like it was a high-stakes fencing match. Fast forward to today, and we're trading Pokémon with trainers across the globe from the comfort of our couches. Want to fill your Pokédex? Just pop onto the GTS and trade a Magikarp for someone's level 100 Arceus. Okay, maybe not that simple, but you get the idea. Battling has also evolved, with competitive play now a cornerstone of the Pokémon community. From training to building a dream team with perfect synergy, competitive battling is like stepping into the Pokémon anime. Only this time, it's your Pikachu going head-to-head against an unstoppable Garchomp. The thrill of outsmarting an opponent with a clutch strategy is unmatched, especially when it involves a Pokémon they clearly underestimated. But the true beauty of Pokémon's multiplayer is the community it creates. Whether you're trading tips, sharing battle strategies, or just arguing over which starter is best, Pokémon brings people together in a way that few games can. Ah yes, and there is nostalgia, a powerful force that Pokémon games have mastered like a level 100 Alakazam with a Mind Plate. There's just something about those first notes of the Pallet Town theme, or the sight of your childhood starter that hits you harder than a hyper beam to the heart. But how does Pokémon keep this nostalgia alive while still pushing the series forward? The key lies in clever callbacks and remakes. Games like Pokémon Heart Gold and Soul Silver didn't just update the graphic. They brought back everything fans loved about the originals and sprinkled in new features, like the ability to have your Pokémon follow you. Let's be real. Nothing beats turning around to see your Typhlosion happily trailing behind you. Even newer games like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl tap into that sense of familiarity while modernizing the experience. And let's not forget those glorious moments when classic Pokémon appear in newer regions. Seeing a wild Eevee in the Galar region feels like running into an old friend. But nostalgia isn't just about reliving the past, it's about blending it with the present. When a game balances fan-favorite elements with fresh ideas, it creates a bridge between generations of trainers. So whether you're chasing a shiny Charmander or revisiting Lavender Town for a dose of ghostly vibes, Pokémon's nostalgic touch ensures you'll always want to catch them all again and again. Let's admit it, Pokémon games have never been about hyper-realistic graphics. Nobody's expecting Pikachu to have individual fur strands swaying in the breeze. But visuals and performance are still vital. After all, even the most compelling story loses its magic if it looks like it's running on a toaster powered by Rotom. The best Pokémon games strike a balance between charm and technical polish. Pokémon Sword and Shield, for example, brought the series into a fully 3D world with sprawling wild areas that felt alive most of the time. Sure, some trees looked like they were imported from the Nintendo 64 era, but hey, at least the roaming Pokémon were adorable. And don't even get us started on those infamous frame rate drops. Who knew Dynamaxing a Pokémon also Dynamaxes the lag? Graphics aren't just about realism, they're about personality. Each region has its own visual flavor, from the serene cherry blossoms of Johto to the industrial grit of Galar. A good Pokémon game immerses you in its world, making every route, city, and cave feel unique. And let's not forget the Pokémon themselves. Seeing your favorite creatures animated in battle adds a layer of magic that static sprites just can't match. But technical quality goes beyond looks. A smooth, bug-free experience is essential to keep the immersion alive. A polished game doesn't need to push graphical boundaries. It just needs to deliver an experience that feels seamless, engaging, and full of life. After all, it's hard to be the very best if the game crashes mid-battle. The future of Pokémon is as fast and mysterious as Thelgrass you've been avoiding since Route 1. With each new generation, the franchise faces the challenge of evolving while staying true to its roots. So, what do we hope for in the Pokémon games of tomorrow? First, let's talk open-world adventures. Pokémon Legends. Arceus gave us a taste of what an open-world Pokémon game could be, and fans are hungry for more. Imagine seamlessly exploring a massive region where wild Pokémon behave like real animals. Skittish, aggressive, or curious. Just picture sneaking up on a Garchomp only to realize you're suddenly the prey. An expansive world with dynamic weather, interactive NPCs, and deep lore could redefine the Pokémon experience. Next, innovation in gameplay. We've seen mechanics like Mega Evolution, Z-moves, and Dynamax shake up battles. But what's next? A co-op multiplayer mode where you and a friend can tackle the Pokémon League together? A crafting system where you build Pokeballs from scratch? The possibilities are as endless as the movesets of competitive players. And then there's storytelling. Fans are ready for narratives that challenge conventions, like morally complex villains, or choices that impact the game's outcome. Let us choose our path. Do we side with Team Rocket this time? The future of Pokémon is exciting because the franchise has so much room to grow. Whether it's groundbreaking gameplay, stunning worlds, or bold new stories, one thing's for sure, we'll be here, Pokeball in hand, ready to dive in. A great Pokémon game is a harmonious blend of storytelling, gameplay, design, and innovation, wrapped in a world that feels alive and brimming with adventure. From the thrill of discovering new Pokémon to the joy of battling friends, the magic lies in the details and the connections we make along the way. But now, it's your turn. What do you think makes a Pokémon game unforgettable? Is it the story, the battles, the world, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments, because every trainer's journey is unique, and we'd love to hear yours. Let's keep this adventure going.